What is up again, everybody? This is Fat Guy Sports Talk. Welcome in. Thanks for joining us. As always, I am Aaron and
I'm
joined
TJ.
by.
I'm Tyler.
Grant.
All right. So we're going to get this out of the way. If you're watching on YouTube, you see something that you probably thought you'd never see. If you're listening and you listened last week, me and Tyler placed a
Beautiful.
bet. I lost because my Bears apparently hate me and hate their fans. And
I think we need
Yeah.
to really state the bet was that the Packers wouldn't score over 30.
Mhm.
What was the final score?
A lot more than 30.
41-24.
Yeah, a lot more
What was
than
it?
30.
What was it, Grant? I just want to rub this in one more time.
41-24, I
Okay.
believe.
I just want to point out that's not as bad as the Raiders did. So, congratulations on that.
Yeah, at least we scored
And it wasn't
some
to the
points.
Falcons.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's true.
41-25. I was wrong.
Yeah, because
You
that
scored
one
more
point
points than I
mattered.
thought you would.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks to Grant's generosity, I am forced to wear this
You
garbage.
should have made him wear it during the next Chicago Packer game.
That's
no.
beautiful. I love
I
it.
mean, we're going
No.
to have to figure this out because it just didn't feel right not watching it with Aaron. But
Yeah, we'll have to get together for the next one.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be
Probably
such a
because
good
it's
day.
gonna be hopefully Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace's last game, and everything else. While we're on the topic of the Bears, I guess right now, they play the Lions this week. Lions just fired Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn, their GM. So if the trend continues like it's been this year, the Lions will get a victory this week. What do
I
you
thought
guys
the
think?
Lions were going to win even with Matt Patricia. So, keynote Kenny Galladay still is out for this game. I don't know how well. I mean, Chicago could easily win this game. The Lions don't have much on offense. They don't have a very good defense, and Chicago's defense, as much crap as you give them, it stands up against this offense extremely well all across the board.
Yeah, the Bears they're through their toughest part of the schedule, and they didn't win a single game out of that. If that tells you anything about how mediocre this team is, or just how trash this team is, I've been saying all year that defense is not scary. They don't scare me one bit, and they
They're not
didn't.
scary, but they're tough.
Well, not
But
tough enough to hold the Packers
let me ask you a
offense.
question: how are you going to
Nobody can
hold an
hold the
offense
Packers
to under 30 points or under 40 points in this case when your offense is that abysmal and your defense is on the field the entire
True.
game?
No, true.
They
And
could be
that's
legitimately an outstanding defense in this league, but they're on the field almost the entire game.
it's true, but I don't see them being that outstanding just because of how they play. They don't blitz. They try and rush 3 to 4 every fucking down, and
Which
they're
is
not
why
getting
I say
pressure on the
they're
quarterback
tough.
at
They're
all.
not scary.
No, but
They
they're not
remind
getting
me.
pressure at all.
They remind me of an early 2000s, 2000 to 2010 Steelers defense. Wasn't very scary, but it was tough to move the ball on them. You know, they. But when you're facing a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers and you will not blitz, you're
Yeah.
not going to do much no matter how much talent you have on your team.
Hmm. Yeah.
Well, and I mean, Hakeem Nicks being out is just a huge loss for the Bears defense. So.
It really is.
But it should not have affected the defense that much. It affected them stopping the run. Don't get me
Yeah,
wrong there.
I was
But
just
when
gonna
it came
say,
to the passing game, you still have, when you're only trying to rush 4 guys, and the Packers can bring in an extra blocker. I mean, you're not going to get pressure on Aaron Rodgers. And
Here's what I'm wondering as far as their blitzing strategy for that game goes, is because Aaron Rodgers is better than most quarterbacks when it does come to, playing under the blitz. In that situation where that Aaron Rodgers has very weak weapons outside of Dante Adams, Dave, whatever the hell his name is, I can't think.
Devontae Adams.
Thank you.
Aaron Jones,
My
Robert
brain is
Tonyan,
not fully functional ever, really, but today more so. But when you have a team where the quarterback is elite under pressure and you have such weak targets, I can almost understand why they didn't blitz that much because you want to make sure you're locking down these guys. But
they weren't doing that
they
either.
weren't doing that. No.
No, that's the
I
sad
mean,
thing. If you're not blitzing, that means you should have 7 guys back there. And if you're still allowing receivers to be wide fucking open all the time, what are you doing back there then? I don't understand it. But watching, who is it? The touchdown to Lazard that took like 7 seconds to develop, and they only rushed 3 people. That means there's 8 people covering 4 people.
I'm sorry, if
And
you have a play that takes 7 seconds to develop,
mhm.
I don't care how many people you have in coverage, you're not going to defend that play because they have literally 7 seconds when you're some of the fastest athletes on the planet to get just a tiny bit of separation. And that's all
This
you really
wasn't a
need to
tiny
do.
bit of
No, I'm
separation. How
It
saying, but
was
fucking
in
open was
general,
he was
Lazard?
pretty
no,
Yeah.
wide
but what I'm
open.
saying is in
Right, right,
general,
right,
if you
right.
have that much time, you're going to find a way open. And in this case, he was wide open. And
Mhm.
it's just because the longer you are in coverage, the longer it takes that defensive line to get to the quarterback, the more put upon you are as a cornerback because your job after the initial route is to trail your receiver. And at that point, the receiver is just kind of ad libbing. So
Yeah.
there's no standard route for him to cover. There's no, nothing on tape that's going to tell him what this guy is going to
Right,
do. So you're
Yeah.
going to find yourself open, especially against a quarterback like Rodgers.
right.
I think that with the Bears Lions, I think the Bears he'll have a better chance with the defense. Is the Lions' offensive line isn't as good as the Packers.
No, it's
The
not.
Packers have an elite offensive line. They have one of the best offensive lines in the league.
And David Bakhtiari just signed a mega contract.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Like
Oh,
2
yeah.
weeks ago.
Yeah.
But one thing I will say about the Lions, because Tyler is dead on with this, is the Lions have never really had a good offensive line. They have, I don't know what it is about this team, but they get superstars on their team and then do nothing with them. When you had Megatron, okay, yeah, at least when you had Megatron, you had a Matthew Stafford to throw him the football. Now you have Matthew Stafford, and your only weapon is injured, which is Kenny Galladay. If anybody in this who's listening to this tells me Marvin Jones is a weapon, I'm gonna slap you.
Damn, I was just gonna say that.
That
I was
seems like
just
they
about to
have
I
say,
mean,
not.
I
while
had
he
him on
doesn't
my
qualify
team and
as a
then benched
weapon,
him, and then have only been playing him because Kenny Galladay's out. But they have no running game. They have no
Yeah.
offensive line. Their defense is suspect, and a lot of that has to do with Matt Patricia because he was such a terrible coach. And honestly, I don't know how he got a job to be good enough. I think I've said this before. The guy sucked as a defensive coordinator in New England. I don't know why he got a head coaching job
It's
in
the
He was good in the
Belichick coaching
playoffs.
tree. Yeah.
He was
yeah.
good. He was good in the
How
playoffs.
often? Yeah, that's great if the Lions could get to the playoffs, but traditionally,
But no, that's what I'm saying is they saw him in the playoffs that
Yeah.
year, and they knew his contract was up with Belichick, so they signed him off of that.
Speaking kind of the Lions, I think it was the House of Representatives for the state ended up sending a letter to the owner of the Lions requesting that they bring in I think it was a defensive coordinator for San Francisco to be their next
Yeah.
head coach. He's a Detroit native, ties to Michigan State. They really want him to be the head coach there. He's a solid defensive coach, so I could see this happening.
It really says something when your government's like, "Hey, you guys are this bad.
Please
Let
help
us
us.
step in.
We are so tired of this.
Let us step in and make your choice for you because you guys obviously cannot do it."
We really want to be Lions fans because, we're running for state senate and everything, but I can't support this team anymore.
So here's my thoughts on this game, though. As much as I want to see Bears win, this is probably one of the easiest stretches of their schedule to end the season, minus the Green Bay game. Winning is not going to benefit this team. They have no reason to be in the playoffs. This is not a Super Bowl team, but winning, hear me out.
I will.
Winning right now, if this team manages to get to an 8-8, 9-7, all that's going to do is help Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace keep their jobs, which is not what this team needs. This team needs to keep playing how they've been playing so we can start a rebuild. I'm solely in on the fact that it's time to sort of blow things up. Get rid of Nagy, get rid of Pace, get rid of Ted Phillips. If it comes down to it, find somebody to take Mac's contract. Find somebody to take Fuller or Akeem Hicks. Allen Robinson will not be back next year. Mitch Trubisky probably will not be back next year. We might have to suffer with Nick Foles for a couple of years. But if that means getting, money to sign big free agents, to get draft picks, I think the one person that we should hold on to is Roquan Smith because he's been playing out of his mind. I think that's a good defensive player to build around for the future. But right now, the worst thing that the Bears can do is win out and sneak into the playoffs because that only helps Nagy and Pace keep their jobs, which does not need to happen. And the Lions, you've seen on social media that a lot of former players and players are happy that Patricia is gone now. So I think the Lions are going to be playing really fired up this week. And the Bears, they just seem to be sick of everything. So I really think the Lions have a good shot at winning. As much as I want to see my Bears win, I think the Lions can come in
Here's
and
the
take
thing
this.
I think you're forgetting is that you have a perfect example in the NFC North of what can happen if you squeak into the wild card spot. The Green Bay Packers in 2010 were a 10-6 football team,
Hmm. The
and
Giants.
nobody thought that they could get to the Super Bowl except for maybe Packer fans. Everyone was counting them out. Everyone thought they'd be terrible, and then they went and ran the table in the postseason and won the Super Bowl against a heavily favored Steelers team.
Hmm.
So it's possible the Bears can do this. A lot would have to happen and have to improve for this team to get there. Their offensive line would have to play out of their mind. And honestly, I think if their offensive line could just play better, I think that would benefit Nick Foles, because Nick Foles is not as bad of a quarterback as he's playing as, but he has no protection. It would also help that running game. And ask any
They
head coach, what do you need in playoff time? You need a running back. The
Well,
problem is that I don't think under any stretch of the imagination that this team can do it. They would have to run the table, number one, go 10-6, and then win the next few games in the postseason to get to the Super Bowl to beat the Chiefs. So
no, it's not
we're the
happening.
Steelers in this case, but
Now,
it's not happening.
hear me out with this one. I
I don't
think
think
it
they're winning
could.
this game.
I think the Bears are going to win this game, just because it's the Lions. Yeah, they fire their coach, and that's been the tradition. But I think the Bears are going to win this game, just because that's the Bears. They don't want to win. They want to lose. They want to fire Pace. They
Yeah.
want to fire Nagy, so they're going to win. And they're on the easiest part of their schedule.
Yeah.
So they're going to win out.
Yeah.
When do they play the Packers again?
Last week of the season.
Exactly. When the Packers are resting their players.
Hmm.
They don't need to play. The Bears can easily win out, and the playoffs are expanded. They could win out and get one of those expanded wild card spots. I think
Yeah.
the Bears could make the playoffs if they change some things up.
Keep in
Will they make
mind,
the
though,
playoffs? No, but I think they're going to win this game.
Who would
Keep in
have
mind-
thought that the Lions would be a season-breaking game?
Yeah.
If they win this game, they're still in the playoff hunt. If they do not, I don't think there's any prayer of them getting in, because you're looking right now at the NFC West, and 3 teams potentially in that division could go to the playoffs. So the Bears would have to play out of their skull.
just one other thought on this game. Matt Nagy has never lost to the Lions. A loss right now at this point in the
In
season,
his
as
long
bad
and
as
storied
yeah,
coaching
no,
career.
I know, but he's 5-0
know.
against the Lions right now. But a loss at right now at this point in the season, the way they've been playing to a team that you always have had success against, I think that's going to be one of the final nails in the coffin for him. So
Well,
Yeah,
one thing I just like to add.
Yeah, Grant.
I just
Go ahead,
like to add
Grant.
with the Lions' new coach, along with Aaron's new jersey. I'm rocking a Wisconsin jersey today.
Well, we didn't
I
notice.
fuck off. I completely forgot their new interim head coach is Daryl Bevel, Wisconsin alumni. Like
Yeah.
until I was like looking up, I was like, oh yeah, no shit.
I like Daryl Bevel
So, yeah,
as a interim coach a lot.
Sorry, Aaron. You know, like I don't really hate the Bears. Like I've always
Mhm.
respected them. I'm cheering for the Lions. Sorry.
oh, rightfully so. Like
Am I the only one saying the Bears are going to pull this one off?
Yeah.
I think so.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think they'll
Even the
have
Bears fans like, nope, I
Yeah.
checked out after week
No,
12.
don't get me wrong. Like I'd love to see my team win. Like if they win, I'm gonna be happy. It's cool. But for a future sense down the line, what's best for this team? I don't really want to see them win. You know?
And that's exactly why I think they will win, is because the Bears seem
fuck
to
me,
do
right? Yeah.
the opposite of what's best for the team.
right. Hence why I'm wearing this fucking jersey right now.
Looks
let's-
good on you,
let's,
man. It does look good.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
Yeah, I like those
It's
colors on
gross.
Aaron. Aaron,
Yeah,
those
it
colors
is.
are beautiful on you.
Mm-mm.
They
No.
are. They
Um,
really match your man bun that you got.
Yeah,
I
going.
was
that-
gonna
that's
say,
why
we need
I'm
to get
not
rid of the
wearing
man
my
bun
hat.
before we have it,
I'm
though.
not wearing my Bears hat with this.
You
I
should have
refuse
given him
to.
a Packers hat to go with it.
Nope.
I-
What is
said
wrong with
jersey.
you, Grant?
That
I
was it.
asked him. He said no. The
You
jersey
don't
was
ask
not.
him. You give it to him and say, this is part of the required
Nope.
wearing for a Packers
wasn't it?
jersey.
Nope. It was
You
not part of
don't
the
tell
deal.
him it's not. You just say it is.
Yeah.
What did I ever
So-
teach you in sales? It was just assume.
All right.
Do
Speaking
you
of the
remember how
Packers,
shitty I did?
Yeah, you did terrible.
since we're kind of transitioning to the Packers, this is kind of a revenge game for them. One of their only losses from last season was against the Eagles. They get them at home again. The
It's gonna be a
Eagles no
tough
longer
battle.
in first place in the NFC East. It belongs to the Giants now, but they're still in
What?
the hunt.
Yeah.
The NFC
Giants,
East is so hard to track who's winning that
Yeah.
division because you're like,
The
oh,
Giants
they
have
all have
4
like
wins.
2
They're winning.
wins. Oh wow,
Nope, the Giants have 4.
killing it.
so does
Remember when the
Washington, and
killing it.
so does Dallas is 3, right?
I'm gonna call it
Remember
right
the
now.
Giants
Giants win
were
the
like
Super
1
Bowl.
and 6. Remember when the
And
Giants
they
were
were
like 1
like
and
the
6 or whatever?
31st worst team, or they were like the second worst team in the NFL.
Mhm.
And now they might make the playoffs with, I don't know. That division's terrible. Though, I mean, when you do look at that game, a lot of the Eagles are super proud of Carson Wentz because he finally came out. And one of the things that Doug Peterson was saying before the season, he needs to be more approachable. He needs to be more team oriented. Well, he came out this week, took ownership for everything that has been going on in the offense. I need to do
About
better. I need to play
fucking
better. And
time.
his team is backing him for it, which is the good thing. Now, one thing I do want to say, Carson Wentz has not played well, right? But he has no weapons on that team. Not one. Zach Ertz is out for the season, I think.
Oh, he's
You
coming
have
back.
Goddard there, who is solid.
Ertz is coming back this week.
Ertz is coming
They're
back.
not-
Okay.
They're not
I thought
expecting
I
him to-
heard last week that they said he was out for the season, so my
He
bad.
got
No.
Alshon Jeffrey back 2 weeks ago
That-
too. But that
Alshon
hasn't
Jeffrey,
been much.
we're talking
Hasn't
about a
he-
guy
yeah.
that hasn't had a good season since Jay Cutler.
But it's no, and while I'm not
And
disagreeing
he's
with
old.
that,
It's Plaxico Burress
still-
at this point.
it's something or it's a lot better than what they've been having. The
Yeah.
Eagles are getting healthy, and I can see them taking over the division. I mean,
Here's the thing though. Like you say Alshon Jeffrey's coming back. That doesn't help them.
No.
Gives
Alshon
it another
Jeff-
option.
Yeah, it gives him
Yeah.
another option, but at that point, find someone off the street because Alshon Jeffrey has
No,
ever
see,
since he's gone to Philly hasn't been good.
right, but it gives the option of a name of someone that used to be good. Even
Just
look
to
at
excite people.
Baltimore
That
with
makes
them
sense.
using Des Bryant. Des Bryant
Des
is
Bryant
getting
did decent,
targets
though.
now.
We
That's
need
because he's
to
getting
point that
targets.
out. Yeah.
Alshon Jeffrey's
Yeah.
going to get that. I think Alshon Jeffrey's going to get that same kind of targeting. He may not be
Here's
as good, but it's going to pull the
I
defense.
think you
apart.
have a very good point, but I think the main difference is, Tyler, is that with a guy like Des Bryant, he was never the fastest. He was never the go down the field, get the ball.
Well, I'm just
guy.
saying someone with a name that had good hands.
Yeah, but I think the difference now is you see Des Bryant really holding in that Anquan Bolden role, that slower guy that is not afraid to go over the middle and get the tough patch. Alshon Jeffrey has never been that guy where Des
No.
Bryant has. Alshon Jeffrey has always
He's
been that
soft.
burner with height and jumping ability and with injury prone, so he's not
He's
good over
soft. He's soft.
I think he's at best going to be a minor distraction
Yeah.
for the defense.
That's all he needs to be.
I'm hoping because they don't have much else on that team. And that's,
Yeah.
I think if you're
Who-
looking at that team, you need to look at the GM because this is a team that played for a Super Bowl and won a Super Bowl just a couple years ago with a quarterback that is shitting the bed in Chicago.
Mhm.
And in the meantime, you have done nothing to make that offense better. You've actually
Yeah.
made it worse.
Can I throw in a little nugget here to go along with that?
Neat.
Two years ago, this is their futility at receiver. 2 years ago, they drafted a guy named JJ Arcega-Whiteside. You know who was taken directly after him?
I don't want to know.
DK Metcalf.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So Eagles fans, if you're listening out there, yeah, you can blame your GM for all your trouble receiver
Now,
problems.
one thing to note, though, that defense is good. That Eagles defense is a very solid defense.
Yeah.
But kind of like the Bears, they're on the field the whole game. You know, they don't
Mhm.
really have an offense to push the ball. And I know a lot of people are saying, hey, let's bring in the young guy. I don't think that's the answer either because you're going to get the same exact results. Carson Wentz is just, I mean, maybe not as mobile, but he's mobile enough to where they could do some bootlegs to get him out of pressure. But there's nobody getting open on that
I
team.
don't know how
outside of the
mobile he
tight
is
ends.
anymore. Does he even have any knees?
I mean,
He's not. I'm not saying he's a
going
guy that's going to scare you with his legs, but I'm saying he's a guy that can roll out and throw the ball.
Yeah.
And they
to buy a
do
couple extra
run it
seconds.
with him quite a bit.
Yeah.
Every time I watch the Eagles, I'm always surprised with how much he
Packers
just
are going to
gets
blow them
hit.
out. I mean,
I'm
Yeah.
just looking at the whole NFC East, the starting quarterbacks in the NFC East. How many solid knees do they have in that whole entire division?
damn.
You got Alex Smith.
Alex
You
Smith
got
has one good
Carson
knee.
Wentz.
Carson Wentz, I think, has injured both knees.
I
Dak
heard
has his
something-
ankle, but
I heard something earlier
Daniel
this week
Jones-
though.
Andy Dalton has good knees.
If Carson Wentz were to go down this week, all the quarterbacks in the NFC East that are starting would be backups because Daniel Jones is going to be out this week too. So
I don't technically put Alex Smith as a backup. I'm sorry. He was the starter and then broke his leg and took some time to come back.
Yeah, but he came in this year as third string.
mhm.
Yeah, because his
Yeah,
leg was
true.
broken and they didn't know if he could play.
Mm.
And then he very quickly took over the job once they realized, I mean, I understand they wanted to give Haskins a shot and see what he could do. I don't blame them for that, even though Haskins is clearly a piece of shit. And I don't mean that as a player. I mean, as a human being, he's a piece of shit. Um, but when it comes to like Kyle
Damn.
Allen, Kyle Allen has had a couple of good
Oh.
games here and there with Carolina and Washington. He's not an answer. He's a Damon Heward type player where he's a good backup, but Alex Smith is the guy there, and I think he was the guy preseason. They just didn't know if he was going to be able to play.
But while we're still on the Eagles Packers game, I think we're all in agreement Packers win this.
I think they blew him out, yeah.
Yeah, blow them out. One before we get off the Packers here, I'm a strong believer Aaron Rodgers is the MVP this year right now. And I don't think it's as close as people want to say it is with
Think Aaron
Mahomes.
Rodgers is the MVP?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely not.
Really?
I don't even agree. I don't even think he's top
Look
three.
look at what he leads in statistical categories.
Oh, I know he's
Everything.
playing very, very well, but I'm sorry. I look at the NFL right now and I see two clear players well ahead of him. And I don't mean close. I mean well ahead of him.
Who?
Number one is Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes has been outstanding. Like Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback, and he is in my opinion, he's the best quarterback in NFL history at this point, as far as talent goes. Obviously, not production. You have Tom Brady with 6 rings. You have Joe Montana with rings. You have other guys with more rings. But when it comes to actual talent as a thrower, and this was actually said during the game, I believe, nobody is more talented than him. Patrick Mahomes is there, but he still needs a couple more years under his belt really before he takes the crown from Rodgers, because Rodgers hasn't had that drop off yet where you can go, yeah, look, Mahomes is clearly, the most talented prospect. And also number 2, Derrick Henry. We're talking about a guy that still has 4 games left in the season, I believe, right? 4.
Yeah.
And he's at 1,200 yards and 12 touchdowns.
Yeah.
We're talking about a guy that's going to end the year at this point with 1,600 yards and 16 touchdowns on the ground, and is going to be the sole reason the Tennessee Titans are in the playoffs.
And here's why I think Aaron Rodgers is the MVP. Look at, we had this statement before when we discussed MVP. It's most valuable player, not best. Look at what Rodgers has had to work with this year. Outside Devontae Adams.
You're saying that it's the most valuable player. Name the last time that vote was decided by that criteria. It's always based on
but you have to look at what he's doing with what he's working with at his age too. Mahomes is having a fantastic year. Don't get me wrong. I think it could be co-MVPs. And Derrick Henry deserves that too, because
I definitely agree there could be a co-MVP this year.
But Derrick Henry could just as well get it because he fits that criteria of most valuable player. If he's not on the Titans, they're trash basically. But I think Rodgers has been playing so well this year that right now I think he's the front runner by a little bit. Patrick Mahomes is also having an outstanding year too, so it could be a co-MVP. Grant, you look like you had a input on this.
No, I was just gonna say. I mean, if we're gonna go by like the most valuable player, I would say at that point it would be Derrick Henry, but that's not how it goes.
I mean, if you want to point out stats here, if you look at completion percentage, it's Patrick Mahomes over Aaron Rodgers. If you look at touchdowns, it's Aaron Rodgers. If you look at interceptions, it's Patrick Mahomes. If you look at quarterback rating, it's Aaron Rodgers. But these are not separated by a lot. First downs, it's Patrick Mahomes. First down conversion, it's Patrick Mahomes. 20-yard plays, it's Patrick Mahomes. 40-yard plays, it's Aaron Rodgers. That's critical. Longest play, it's Aaron Rodgers by 3 yards, and Patrick Mahomes has been sacked 3 times. Like, these are very even stats. Aaron Rodgers has 33 touchdowns with 4 picks. Patrick Mahomes has 30 with 2. When you look at total yards, Patrick Mahomes is blowing Rodgers out of the water. But that's also, like you had just pointed out, Rodgers does not have a lot of weapons, and Devontae Adams was out for a chunk of this season. But you can't go based on that when you're looking at it. And right now you're looking at a Patrick Mahomes that is just shredding people. And when you look at Aaron Rodgers right now, you go, it's like, okay, like we have a good shot to win this game in the final 2 minutes. It's Aaron Rodgers. When you look at Patrick Mahomes, if you don't have under a minute left on the clock, it's almost guaranteed it's a Patrick Mahomes victory. Like Aaron Rodgers gives you a fighting chance in that last 2 minutes. Patrick Mahomes is going to win you the game, guaranteed.
That's
At
the
this
thing,
point.
though, is like Patrick Mahomes always has the. I mean, he's just got all the offensive weapons around him. Rarely do you even see the Chiefs in that situation. Like Rodgers is in closer games. Mahomes, they've been blowing people out and just like putting the pedal to the metal.
Except the Raiders.
Well, I think
Yeah.
the thing you have to look at with that too is that teams are afraid of Kansas City. They are
Yeah.
not afraid of Green Bay.
Yeah.
So you have
absolutely.
teams like Tampa Bay who got caught out ahead. Their season was done, or their game was done. If the Chiefs get a lead on you, it's over.
Yeah.
Because they can put up points every single drive if they really push it.
Speaking of the
Well-
Chiefs, let's discuss their game. I mean, if it's going to be a game, they get the Broncos at home on Sunday night. Are the Broncos getting their quarterbacks yet? Go ahead, Grant.
Before we do that, though, I just want to thank Tyreek Hill so much for getting me 3 wins this week. Single-handedly, really appreciate him. So he's my MVP right now.
That has to be the single most outstanding performance this year. And
Dude,
Oh my God.
it's
it was
insane to say that for a game
unreal.
because he did 90% of that in the first fucking quarter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was at what,
200 yards and 7 catches and I think 2 touchdowns at that
Yeah.
point,
Yeah.
or something like that. It was
It was
ridiculous.
ridiculous. Yeah.
I do want to point out one thing that I just noticed because I'm looking at quarterback stats. Carson Wentz is number 1 in the NFL in interceptions with 15. Number 2 is Drew Lock with 11, tied with Kirk Cousins and Tom Brady. And then early season MVP frontrunner by a mile is in 5th. And that's Russell Wilson. Yep. Russell Wilson is sitting at 2,700 yards, 28 touchdowns, and 10 picks. He went through, I think it was the first 4 games without an interception?
Yep. He has like 16 touchdowns and no picks in the first 4 games. Yeah. And
Yep.
he has just went.
Yeah, he is.
He's not good in the last half of the season.
And Tyler's exactly right. This is what happens every single year. Russell Wilson comes out firing hot. Everyone's like, why don't we give Russell Wilson more credit? And then the second half of the season,
And then when it matters, the playoffs, he comes right back up.
Yep.
Yeah. The only problem is he doesn't have a defense that can really bail him out anymore.
No.
His defense is trash. So, I mean,
well, it's not that bad when Jamal Adams is there.
Right.
When Jamal Adams is there. They're not a terrible defense.
Bobby Wagner's the most overrated linebacker in the game.
I disagree. Bobby Wagner is a first ballot Hall of Fame linebacker. The fuck you talking about? And I will fight over this. Bobby Wagner is going into the Hall of Fame on his first ballot. He is one of the best middle linebackers ever to play the position. He has changed the position single-handedly. He is a new model of middle linebacker for the NFL. And he is part of one of the greatest defenses to ever play on the football field. Bobby Wagner is a first ballot Hall of Famer. The fuck you mean overrated?
Maybe
You want to talk about overrated linebackers? Look at your jersey.
Whoa,
Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh, we all aren't agreeing.
Whoa. Tyler agrees with me on this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Grant,
I
if
know.
you don't agree on that, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
look at
Clay
Grant's
Matthews
jersey.
had talent.
Maybe
Oh, I
it's
thought we were
just
talking about Grant's
because-
jersey.
No, we're talking about
I
Clay
will
Matthews.
admit
It's
it.
not a linebacker,
will-
it's a lineman.
I
And
will.
fuck off. During his prime, J.J. Watt was incredible.
I will admit this about Bobby
Which half of the
Wagner.
season? The injured half?
I do not know that
Still.
much as stats wise go about Bobby Wagner. I just know since he
The
got that
thing about
99
Bobby
rating
Wagner
in
is
Madden.
he's not a stat killer.
Yeah.
He's
So-
a guy that's going to. He's a guy that is going to. He's going to make. He's never going to miss a tackle. Number 1, but number 2, he is outstanding. He's one of the best middle linebackers I have ever seen in the NFL in coverage. It's nuts. He's fast, he's quick, he's a fierce leader. He has been the centerpiece of that defense for a decade at this point. I mean, the guy is a first ballot Hall of Famer. It's disrespectful to say that he's overrated. If you want to talk about overrated linebackers, I mean, we can do that, but Bobby Wagner isn't even on that list. It's just that Bobby Wagner doesn't put up he's a middle linebacker, right? Brian Urlacher never got the credit he deserved at middle linebacker nationally. You know,
Yeah.
in the NFC North, we all knew who Brian Urlacher was.
He
right?
did at points. He
He
did
at points in 2006, for example.
Yeah, he was defensive player of the year. He was
yes.
rookie of the year.
But
The
you're talking about a guy that has just been the heart and soul of a defense for 10 years. And you can't call him overrated. It's just that
okay,
he doesn't
so
put up a
I
lot of stats and he doesn't
let
put up
me
any.
retract my statement at the overrated thing.
Thank you.
I don't know much about him. I just know he got into the 99 club on Madden, and I was like, why? Because that year, the year he got in, he was terrible. But maybe not overrated, maybe just underappreciated because he doesn't get media coverage. If I know he's been there quite a long time, so um, I take back my statement calling him overrated.
Yeah, how do we go from overrated to underappreciated? That's a big leap there.
It's
Well,
because he
because
feels
TJ just
shame.
put me on
He
blast.
feels
Sorry,
shame.
autocorrect.
New phone, who dis?
No,
No, I
whole
pulled up
the
I
sole.
pulled up an article about it, about why is Bobby Wagner a Hall of Famer, and apparently Pro Football has a thing called a Hall of Fame score, right?
Mhm.
And I don't know what it's based off of. This is a lot of words and not enough stats, and I don't have the time to read it right now. But it's basically feel like Bobby Wagner out of a score of 100, and the average score of a Hall of Fame linebacker is 113. Bobby Wagner already is at 88.3. This guy is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer when he's done. It's just that the problem is, and I think you're right about it, a lot of people do not know about him because he's a quiet guy. He doesn't make headlines. He doesn't run his mouth. He is team first in pretty much everything he does. We don't hear about contract disputes, but all he does is go out there and just kill it on the football field.
He's a great tackler.
Yeah, he's an outstanding tackler. Like he is the
Open field
guy.
tackles, he's amazing at it.
He is a wet dream for Packers fans.
Yeah, sorry for the Bobby Wagner comment. Okay, I don't know
You're
that much
forgiven.
about him. I spoke before, yeah, checking my sources, which are not reliable. But like I said, all I based it off was the Madden rating because I didn't think he deserved it because the year he got it, he did not perform
Are we
well.
really judging a player's Hall of Fame candidacy based off
No.
of their
Oh
Madden
no, I
rating?
never said anything about Hall of Fame. If I do more research on him and
Yes, do.
yeah, okay. But
Now,
anyway,
Next week's episode, Bobby Wagner special.
yeah, Bobby,
But if you want to speak of with the next game, with going off the Seahawks are facing the Giants.
yeah, I think the Seahawks stand on them. They're
They
playing
better.
at home.
Yeah.
yeah,
The Giants also are starting their backup quarterback.
Who?
Colt McCoy.
Oh, right.
Oh yeah.
I like
right.
Colt McCoy. I think he's actually better than Daniel Jones, so go for it.
The
As far as
Seattle
passing.
has won 4 straight games against the Giants. I think that continues to be fine.
It's Seattle.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, it's in Seattle, but that doesn't mean as much this year as it would last year.
no,
But
Oh,
Yeah.
they got the 12th
Seattle's gonna-
man.
Seattle's going to walk on them.
yeah.
Sorry.
So, one of the other good games.
Grant, you look
coming
angry.
By the way, we
Fucking
never.
hate
Who are
that
we picking for the
12th man
Eagles game? We're all
bullshit.
going Packers, right?
up. Yeah,
Yes.
we're all going Packers. I think we're all going Chiefs, and we're all going Seahawks, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on.
We gotta talk about the
Next
Raider.
No,
Who are the
hang on.
Chiefs playing?
We'll get to the
Oh,
Raiders.
I don't know.
Hang
It's
on.
Denver, man.
I
They're
want to,
tough.
yeah, I want to get to this next game because this is going to be a good game. I feel
Okay.
Cleveland's coming into Tennessee, both at 8-3. Who do you
And
got in
both
this
play
game?
very similar styles of football.
Yes.
Both are very pass heavy that use their quarterback sparingly.
You mean
Cleveland
run
has a
heavy?
far
Yeah.
better defense.
They pass heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
sorry.
mean run heavy.
Cleveland has a far better defense than Tennessee, though.
Miles
Um,
Garrett will be back this week too.
Yep. That said, I gotta go Tennessee in this game.
Yeah, it really just depends on if you're calling this one. It's if Derrick Henry can single-handedly win this game. But
Yeah.
I
Tennessee.
don't think Tannehill is gonna be able to do a ton. But I mean,
I think it's
I
gonna
mean,
be Tennessee.
Brown-
They're gonna run to the opposite side of the field of Garrett, and they're gonna run it and run it and run it, wear them down, and then Henry's gonna do what he does best. He's gonna pick up
Just
speed in
end
the
that
third,
game.
and the fourth quarter he's just gonna run all over them. And I think it's gonna be a close game. Tennessee wins.
This
Keep in mind the last time that the Tennessee Titans played an outstanding pass rush was against the Steelers, and they lost that game. So this is very difficult to predict. You know what? I'll go at Cleveland in this game.
I'm
This
going
is a-
Cleveland.
this is a Browns team though that has struggled against very good
Good
teams.
teams.
You know,
Yeah.
their three losses have come to the Steelers and the Ravens. Although they are divisional games, this is still an AFC game. It's going to be a
Mhm.
battle. Tennessee's at home too, where they have been having fans there. So, it's a battle of the running backs. I mean,
I say 24-17 type thing.
it's going to
Yeah,
be
it's going to be
tight.
a low scoring.
I think it's one of those games where whoever has the ball last is probably going to be your winner. And I think I do like the Titans at home. Derrick Henry's got that team on a roll. I like the Titans in a very close game there.
Dollar, you're not fooling me. I know you want to pick the Browns because you're their
Yeah,
biggest
come on,
fan.
Browns fan. Yeah.
You don't
I don't
try
want
and
to go
throw
with
us off.
everybody though. That's my thing. Like this is
No,
a game
it's not even
No,
that.
I'm going Browns. I'm going Browns.
I'm
No,
going Browns.
Yeah, I know.
Look, it's not even that I don't want to go Browns. It's that I want to try and stay non-biased, and I really think Henry will take over that fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
One
it's
thing
gonna
to
be
note, Garrett is an outstanding defensive player, but he's not
I
as
mean,
outstanding
yeah,
against the run.
Don't get me wrong. Everyone knows. Whoever listens to this will know I am a Browns fan on the seat on the side. Like it's fine. I'll admit it.
Ooh, I'm telling Green Bay.
I said on the side,
Yo, Tyler loves Cleveland.
and they'll be like, okay.
No one
All right.
cares.
We'll move on to another tough divisional matchup here. The Flailing Cardinals have dropped 2 in a row, right? They welcome in the Rams. 7-4, Los Angeles comes to Cardinals, who are 6-5, at risk of dropping to 500. What do you guys like here?
I think the Rams take it, and I really do like the Cardinals a lot. I just think
Didn't the Rams lose
are too
last week?
balanced.
Yeah.
Who'd they play again?
I don't remember.
San Francisco, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
wanna-
They were upset, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
This is a tough game to go with because, I mean, again, the funny thing is about this Rams team is that the thing that the head coach is known for is innovative offense. And the offense is kind of mediocre on that team. It's that defense that is outstanding. And I'm going to go Arizona in this game.
It's can Kyler Murray run away from Aaron Donald?
That's
Yeah.
exactly what I think it is.
And
I think that's going to be a no, and I'm going Rams.
I think he can because I don't think they're going to make him sit in the pocket when you have Aaron Donald coming up that middle. I think they're going to.
It doesn't matter.
And
And we're
roll him out.
gonna.
And you have
It
Jalen
doesn't
Ramsey.
matter. Yeah,
I was
you
just
get him
gonna
on
say
the
Jalen
outside.
Ramsey on Hopkins is going to be a real interesting battle. I mean, it's going
Yeah.
to come down.
This
to
is the best against
two
the best.
major matchups.
You
It's
get
Best wide
Kyler
receiver
Murray.
against best corner.
You
Yeah.
get Kyler Murray on the rollouts, avoiding Aaron Donald, and then you have him running right into Leonard Floyd, who, like I said, has been playing outstanding this year too.
Mhm.
So, and Kyler Murray's been struggling the last few weeks too.
Mhm.
So I think the Rams in this game are going to come into Arizona and walk out, with
God,
the
I
victory
hope
there.
I'm wrong because I got Murray and I really need him to do well this week.
But staying in Arizona, the Monday night game, the Bills take on the Arizona 49ers. For anybody
Don't
who
ever say
doesn't
that
know-
again.
For anybody who doesn't know, I want to give a context to our listeners. The San Francisco 49ers are not allowed to play at home due to state or county orders.
Counting.
Yep, counting
So
orders.
their 2 home games in December are going to be played at University of Phoenix Stadium. So with that being said, the Bills have to play again in Arizona, where we all remember how they lost to the Cardinals. Right?
That's not going to happen against the Niners.
Hail Murray.
That's
So
not going to happen against the Niners.
This is a Monday night game. Keep in mind the Bills have lost 4 straight Monday night games. What do you guys think here?
I think they turn it around here. Bills.
Yeah, I think Bills.
Yeah, I'm going Bills.
I mean, the Niners could make it a lot closer of a game than we saw because it was because of their win against the Rams. But really, I feel like that one was more just like a rivalry division. Like that one was circled, whereas the Bills aren't.
That one was a trap game. Those happen all the time with divisional games.
Yeah.
This is
But,
not.
I mean, I could never really consider a divisional game a trap game because of the fact it's a divisional game. You should be fucking out.
Yeah,
there.
you know that team. Yeah.
Like the Packers
True.
lost to the Vikings. That wasn't a fucking trap game. That was just a bad loss. Like
It sucks that this is a home game for the 49ers because they're not at home and they're close by, but they're not at home. So I think it's.
I mean, you're still staying in a hotel. You're not at your own.
It's a dry heat.
It's a trip. So yeah, I think the Bills will walk out of there with that one too. So, what other games have we not touched on? Ooh, Patriots travel to the Chargers. Anthony Lynn is probably going to be out of a job this year. Did anybody see his boneheaded play calling in the last 30 seconds of their game last week?
No.
No.
Oh yeah, yes, I did.
Yeah, when you get bailed out by a Hail Mary. You're down, but they were down by 10, if I believe.
Oh, yeah.
So they needed a touchdown, an onside kick, field goal to go to overtime. They got the ball within to the 3-yard line with about 36 seconds left, no timeouts, and he calls a run play.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just an awful clock management there. Just not saying they were going to win, but just not even trying to give a chance to your team. And they got the Patriots, who we can never count them out. We thought we wrote them off a few weeks ago, but they're 5-6. They're right back in that playoff hunt, guys. Who do you like here?
Neither.
Yeah.
Can we choose for this game to be canceled and both teams get a loss?
That's a tie.
I'm gonna go Patriots. It's at this point I'm not even. It's so hard to guess.
Isn't Eckler back this week?
I believe
It doesn't matter. This is such a weird game because Anthony Lynn's a terrible coach going up against a great coach, but the Chargers have better talent.
Yeah.
So
I'm saying the Chargers.
I'm gonna go Patriots just because of Bill Belichick.
I'm going Chargers.
I'll say Chargers.
I'm gonna go Chargers too. I think Herbert plays well enough. As long
The Patriots still have a pretty solid secondary, though.
They
so
do,
it's
yeah.
gonna
I mean,
be
it
a
is good.
test.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think-
it's going to be a test, and that's what I mean, a lot of these games, like I just don't know who I like or what I think is going to happen. I just know what I'm going to be watching for. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Probably the only other decently. I
you
can't
all
even
right
say.
there, Tyler?
Yeah, I was sitting too high. Sorry.
Were your feet swinging like a little kid?
Okay, I'm not that. I am that short, but fuck off.
No, that
Okay.
wasn't a short. That was a. You look like a fucking child without any face.
He's cute. Leave him alone.
All
I
right,
hate him.
so the 7-4 Colts are traveling for a divisional game here into Houston to take on the 4-7 Texans.
Colts.
Will Fullerless.
Will
Oh.
Fullerless
It
Texans.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if DeAndre Hopkins is on that team. They're going to lose that game.
I don't know. Deshaun Watson's been playing fabulous the last 3 weeks.
The
He
Colts
really
are a
has.
scary team. They are just so difficult to read, but the Colts are going to smoke them.
See, I wouldn't say scary. They're just really hard to read. I wouldn't say they're a scary team.
They're outstanding defensively. They are better than you think looking at them offensively. I gotta go. I think it's going to be a blowout with the Colts win. Oh, maybe not a blowout. I think it might be close. Colts win.
It'll be a close game, but it'll be a Colts win.
I'm gonna take the Texans here.
Shut up, Aaron. No one cares.
Yeah.
I
I'm
think
glad that
Deshaun.
you did because I didn't want everybody taking the Colts.
No,
but
I just think Deshaun Watson's been playing so great. Yes, losing Will Fuller is going to be big for them, but Deshaun Watson can carry that team. This is like we always say, this is a divisional game. They've been playing a lot better since firing Bill O'Brien. They're 4-3 with Romeo Crennel as their head coach. I think the Texans can pull this one out. The Colts, they're like we've said, they're very blah. You just don't know what to get from them. Their defense is
So
great.
boring to watch.
Yeah. But yeah, I think the Texans could pull this one out. I'm gonna take the Texans on this one.
I think Colts in a very, very close game.
Okay. All right. We'll move on along here to the last few games. Bengals travel to the Dolphins.
Dolphins. But just do we need to say why?
Yeah.
We talk about
Dolphins.
the Dolphins a lot, and it's
Yeah.
the fucking
So we all
Bengals
select
now for us.
Dolphins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Dolphins there.
Next
All
game.
right. 1-10 Jaguars travel to Minnesota to take on the Vikings.
Vikings.
Vikings. Yeah.
No matter
Don
who they
Beebe's kid's
play.
going to tear it up.
Jaguars.
Isn't
Jaguars.
think Jaguars?
I'll
Yes.
never pick the
Oh.
Vikings.
No, I'm being honest.
Yeah, I actually think the Jaguars could be
The
team.
Jaguars held the Packers pretty good. The Jaguars are the best 1-10 team you'll see ever.
this is
He's not
isn't this
wrong.
going to be a revenge game for Yannick Ngakoue? Didn't he get traded from the
He's-
Jaguars?
Yeah, and then he got pretty sure he got
Yeah,
cut.
traded again to the Ravens.
Yeah, he was traded
Oh,
again.
he did.
Yeah,
That's right.
because he sucked.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
And
Those
then all of a
Yeah.
sudden they traded him and they were getting sacks again. So I don't know.
Minnesota's just hot. They're hot right now. They've won 4 of their last 5. So I
Don't let Chicago hear you call them hot.
hey, they beat us.
While wearing a Packers jersey. What the
Yeah.
fuck is
While
going
wearing
on?
a Packers jersey.
What is
You were just
Yeah.
shitting
What are
all
you
over your
doing?
loyalties today.
Yeah.
All right, just a couple more
And
games
you were
here.
saying that you hope the Lions win. Like, what the
It's
hell?
the best thing for the future of the Bears.
I thought you were a Bears fan.
We've had enough Bears talk. Anyway,
I hope
I
someone
better
pays
get-
attention. I
we
hope
have
like
3
Spice
more
Adams
games
pays
here.
attention.
We should just have an episode
I'm
of us
tweeting
just
Spice
shit
Adams.
talking Chicago.
I will not be present for that.
I'm
I know.
gonna tweet Spice Adams and get him to listen to this.
Okay,
Call you out.
Spice, you're
What
my
a
boy.
terrible fan.
Yeah,
I've
but you're a
been-
terrible Bears fan. I mean,
How am I a
Wait.
terrible Bears fan?
Says the terrible Raiders fan, right?
Speaking of the Raiders,
Oh,
they
Jets
go
win.
to the Jets.
Jets win.
Um,
No, I'm
'cause
fucking
okay, first of
kidding.
all, before we go anywhere, I would like to personally call out Derek Carr
Jesus,
for
the one
shitting
time,
in
the
his
one
pants.
time,
The one time I need him. The one time I need him because I had to play him.
the one
because
time I give him
my quarterback
praise.
is like out with COVID somewhere. Lamar Jackson's out dealing with COVID, and Derek Carr decides to poop in his pants a lot. Like it wasn't even like a normal turd. It was like on the Keurig scale, like
Oh,
who beat you, Tyler?
30. Yeah, you did.
hurt
And
you,
then my
Tyler?
other
Oh,
league,
That's right. That's
in my
right.
other league, TJ beat me.
Oh,
Yeah, by
okay.
a lot, by like 90 points.
But in honesty, I don't really pay attention to that league
I did.
at all.
Here-
I'm only
here's
paying
a
attention to the one that I'm with
fun
Aaron.
I
stat.
don't pay attention to that.
Here's a fun stat for you. You got to let me speak on this one.
No.
Tyler was in first place in our league. I was in second place.
Mm-hmm.
I beat him. I thought I was going to be moving into first place. The only other person that could have taken over first place, I had a 76-point lead on. All I needed them to do was not score more than 195 points. They scored 195.75. So I am in second place by 0.15 points.
Yeah,
Man,
I
maybe you should
did
be better.
notice that. I did notice that.
That's because
insane.
that's where you deserve. Because you're on number 2. You're a piece of shit.
Said
Playoffs
you
are
got no
clinched,
balls.
and I've still got the bye week. Unlike
My
you.
my playoffs have been clinched for like a week or two.
Yeah, you
Doesn't
just
matter.
lost your bye week though.
What happened last year
Yeah,
when I
you're
lost my
close.
last 3 games? I went on and won the championship.
What happened the year
Remember,
before
who's the
when you
reigning
started?
champ?
Why
Oh,
are we
for
wasting
those-
time arguing about your private
Because-
fantasy league?
Because we need also, if Tyler wants to bring that up, we can say how Tyler went 12-0 and then lost the last 3 games to not even get in any of the money. That was a fun.
Don't
stat.
you attack my Tyler like that.
That did happen. That was painful.
That was fun. Anyways, so are we all taking the Raiders against the Jets?
I
Yes.
don't want to,
Yeah.
but I will. Like, I do want to point out, I have been shitting on Derek Carr all year. Last year, I finally give the guy a little scrap of praise,
Last
and he
week.
goes out and pulls this shit.
Yeah.
All right. 2 more games here. They both feature the NFC least. The Washington football team travels to Pittsburgh.
At least.
That was cute,
Uh,
Aaron.
That was adorable. I
cute.
like it.
All right. Washington football team at Pittsburgh.
Do we need to talk about this game?
Yeah.
Looks like
Steelers.
so.
They're
Steelers.
11-0.
Yeah.
They're facing a team from anybody in the
But-
NFC East.
The 11-0
Redskins.
Steelers have
Or
the
sorry, Washington.
easiest schedule.
Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are
And
the
they
easiest
played
schedule to be
like-
11-0.
Shit against the Ravens on Wednesday afternoon football.
Which was the weirdest thing to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was watching that and I was like, this is just awkward.
I'm not putting too much credit into that. That was a weird Wednesday game.
Yeah.
It's only going to get weirder though because the Ravens again get to play on Tuesday this week. They get the Cowboys at home, and again
Is Lamar Jackson out again?
he is,
for the record-
and
for the record,
wait,
RG3
before we
is
move
out
on,
too.
Before we move on, I did pick Washington, by the way.
So did I.
think
Okay.
they're
Shut
beat-
up.
yeah,
Okay.
I think they're beating the Steelers, man.
Fuck
I
you
think
both.
That's
You're
like
just trying
what-
to be. You're just trying to be opposite of us.
Yeah.
No,
I'm still
Aaron,
taking
you
Steelers.
remember when we were playing men, I was saying that that was going to be their trap game. 'Cause next
It
week we
could
play
be.
the Bills. Dude,
It
it's-
could be.
They've had their trap game and they smoked the shit out of
Yeah.
them. They played the Jaguars already. They're not gonna.
Yeah,
it's not gonna happen again. It's
All right.
I don't know. They've had so many close calls this year that I think it
also.
could. It
I'm
could.
going with Dallas.
Yeah, because the Ravens have to play with Trace McSorley this week. It looks like, who actually didn't do
I
too
hate
bad.
that name. I hate that name. Why
That's
are
a
you
bad
playing
list, man.
football?
I
Well,
hate
my other
that
guys are
guy.
McSorley, so I have to fill in.
So Lamar Jackson is out again this week. Is it
Yeah.
confirmed?
Yeah, and RG3.
Yeah, RG3's out. It's for all reports right now are that Trace McSorley will be starting. He's the only active quarterback. Sorry,
I do want to
Tyler.
point one thing out. Denver will have a
That's
quarterback
depressing.
this week, guys.
They
I need
will.
to find out. I need to pick up a quarterback now. Damn
Is it their coach?
Hey, I got Derek Carr to trade.
I have Derek Carr in my league. Do I want to start him against the Jets? I don't know.
Yes. You want? He's not gonna do that twice in a row.
I don't trust you.
All right. So I think that is enough football talk.
That's fine.
We managed
fuck
to
you.
drag that out for a long time, but I just want to touch on while we're still in the football realm here, a little bit of college football. I was listening to the Dan Patrick show earlier this week, and they were talking about Ohio State getting into the playoffs. They were crushing Michigan State earlier. But that's only their fifth game. 5-0 against inferior opponents in the Big Ten. Do they deserve to be in the CFP this year?
To win the Big Ten championship, yeah. But
who have they beaten?
I
Indiana.
don't think there should be a college football playoff this year. I think they should just do normal bowl games like they used to, because everyone's schedules are all messed up. The whole CFP, it's
I think the
been
best.
messed up with everyone even having like a 12-game season, a 6-game season.
I have no interest in college football this season just because of how ridiculous everything
Yeah.
is. Like, I understand it. Like, they're doing their best given the situation, but it's just I've really my enjoyment of college football has been scouting for the NFL, and I'm not that intrigued by this season. I'll do my scouting and all that, but as far as competition,
I think the only way that I think it's deserved for Ohio State to get into that CFP is if they expand it to 8 teams, because you have a lot of other teams that are actually playing full seasons and that are doing fairly well. College game day this week was in Coastal Carolina to preview BYU and Coastal Carolina. Who was it? BYU was supposed to play somebody else, but that game got canceled. So they just called up Coastal Carolina and said, "Hey, let's make it happen."
yo, you want to play?
Yeah.
Called him out like a UFC star, like, Coastal Carolina, where you at?
Both undefeated teams, and one of them is going to remain undefeated after today's game.
Undefeated.
Undefeated, whatever. I think one of those should, if you expand it, give one of them a shot. You know, UCF never got their shot 2 years ago when they went undefeated, and they should have. This year, out of all years, would be the perfect time to just expand it to 8 teams. You know, then there wouldn't be so much bitching about, whoa, is Ohio State good enough to be one of the top
No,
4?
but what you're going to end up happening, like, you're not going to get as much bitching about that situation. But what you are going to get is every single fucking Alabama fan that throws a goddamn fit if they get eliminated from the playoffs and be like, there shouldn't be 8 teams in this. Why are they doing this? It should be 4. They shouldn't even be here. Like, I just don't want to deal with that.
Let the cousin fuckers bitch. Who cares?
Let the cousin fuckers bitch.
Roll damn pass.
Can that be the name of our episode? Let the cousin fuckers bitch.
Yes. All right.
No, I for college football, I don't think Ohio State would deserve it, but they're gonna get in just because they do everything they can to get Ohio State in, because Ohio State money.
If they're undefeated from a Power 5, they should be in.
Yeah,
I mean,
they are
if they're
damn
passing
good.
the eye test and they're undefeated, there's no reason that they shouldn't be in there. Now, a one-loss OSU team, no, they're not in.
I just think the college football playoffs this year should be broken up and just do bowl games like they used to, just because everyone sees it, and that rests solely on the heads of college football. All the divisions should have gotten together, all the conferences should have gotten together and figured out how to do this as a unified front, not this
never happened.
Conference here, and that's what I'm saying. The fact that this is all fucked up sits on their shoulders alone, and I will sit here and blame the NCAA to the fullest, because they are the trashiest of the trash organizations.
Oh yeah, they don't fucking
care. The NCAA should be fucking
between them.
He said exactly why I do not like college football, because the governing body is such a shitty governing body that I cannot stand it. These players need to be paid. There's so many things that need to be done for college football that they won't do because they're just stubborn, and that's the way it's always been.
FIFA, the IOC, and NCAA are the 3 most trashiest, corrupt sports organizations in the world.
100% agree.
Fuck, I forgot about FIFA for a minute.
And the
I
IOC.
forgot
Damn.
about the IOC.
The IOC, yeah.
The IOC is trash.
Yeah.
That's cricket, right?
No, the International Olympic Committee.
Cricket.
No, because like the cricket
Oh,
organization is
well, I'm
super
sure, yeah, but we're
corrupt
Americans
as well. Yeah,
Yeah, we don't give a shit about cricket. So
That's
we
a
don't care
sport.
about FIFA either. So
one other football note before we move on to other things. I don't know if y'all saw this. It's getting pretty viral. Did you see that high school kid fucking knock out
Yeah.
that ref?
Oh my god.
So
no, I did not.
He
so
body
here's the
slams
Share the
backstory.
link.
Here's the backstory. I'll put it on our Facebook page. High school player got ejected from a game for multiple unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. And before he could leave the field, he rushed back onto the field and bulldozed the ref, gave him a concussion. Their team has now been banned from the playoffs. They've been kicked out of the playoffs.
Well,
and he
Texas
has been charged,
playoffs.
Texas playoff, and he has been charged with Class A assault.
Yeah. I'll say that's the big part is this is in Texas where football means life.
Yeah.
And they got kicked out of the Texas football playoffs.
Well,
Like,
he just kissed any potential college career he might have
Yeah,
gone out the
this-
window.
I read more on this kid. This is not just some scrub defensive lineman who's going to go work at McDonald's the rest of his life. He was the district.
He is now.
Well, yeah, but he was the district defensive player of the year last year. So this was a damn good football player. And I'm sorry. At first, I was like, man, for them to kick the whole team out just for one player's actions. Then I saw the video,
is
and then I
pretty
thought
shitty.
about it. I saw the video, and then I thought about it. The coaches did nothing to restrain this kid. Even when he hit the ref, there was maybe one, maybe two coaches trying to, control this kid. Like,
So I
that's
type
on
into
the coaches.
YouTube high school, and the top reference is high school player hits referee. So
Mhm.
click.
It's going
I'm
insanely
gonna mute
viral.
myself in a
So
minute.
I applaud the
No,
district.
no, don't mute yourself. Let's get that live reaction.
Yeah.
We're throwing this on the test.
Is this Edinburgh and PSJ?
Yep. Yep, Edinburgh. Yep.
Oh shit. Funk.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like I said, I gotta applaud the district for taking the stance and kicking this whole team out because it's solely on the
Okay.
coaching staff.
Yes, the coach. Like, I don't care what happens at a football game. You blame the coaching staff for it because your job as a coach is to instill discipline
Mhm.
and to make sure that your players don't pull shit like this. But at the same time, I don't necessarily think the whole team should be to blame. But you have to make a stance that this shit is not okay. So I
Yeah.
get what the reaction is. I think it's a little overblown by kicking out the whole team. This guy should be banned from high school athletics for the rest of his high school career. I don't know if he's a
Mhm.
senior or not. This guy is going to probably lose every major scholarship he has. If he gets into Division 1, it's going to be with some shitty team.
Mhm.
Most likely he'll end up at a Division 2 or Division 3 school to play football and hope that somebody notices him there.
He's gonna end up at Last Chance U, that Netflix school. Yeah. But yeah, like that's
an intense hit.
yeah.
Oh. He just laid that ref out. And then like the other team chased him. Like, why? He's not heading your guys. Why are
Yeah.
you trying to fight?
But yeah, I just wanted to touch on that. That's gone pretty viral. See what y'all thought about that. I think we should pop over to NBA news. Not too many more free agent signings, but we had a couple extensions, new contracts, and a big trade.
Yep, we had a couple things go on. Real quick, I do want to start. This is where our trivia is going to be at, just because this is what we have because Aaron slacked. Shame.
Sorry.
Oh, it's basketball trivia?
Shame.
I'm going to just mute myself now then.
Right.
No Googling.
If I get it right, you know I've Googled it. So
Well,
this,
then go ahead.
this player has played only 44 games over the last 4 seasons and has 3 championships.
Klay Thompson.
Only played.
And has 3 championships in that time.
No, not in that time.
Oh.
And has 3 championships.
I already made my
Is it
guess,
Has-
but I'm going
is
to
it-
Google it.
Is it Udonis Haslam?
Yes, it is.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. That guy doesn't he have another championship early in his career with the Heat too?
Yes.
Yeah, that was
all
the
three of them
third
are
one.
with all 3 of them are with the Heat, and he has just signed on for his 18th season with the Heat.
Nice.
Even though he's averaged 11 games each season, he still plays apparently. But going on from there, that's just the trivia we have this week. Next week, Aaron will pick up back up with our where did they come from?
Yeah.
Um,
Sorry,
right, Aaron?
I started a new job and I'm getting used to the schedule. So give me a fucking break, all right?
You
going
get
on
jack
going
shit.
going on from there. I know a big player to close to Aaron's heart, Joakim Noah did retire from the NBA.
I'm sad the Bulls are dropping the ball. They needed to re-sign him to a one-day contract so he could retire as a Bull. They kind of
should have
dropped the
retired
ball
as
on
a
that.
Why does that matter to you guys? Like, I know
Mhm.
you see it in every sport, right? Guys that have been
Yeah.
longtime members of the
It's
franchise. Why does it matter to fans? You know,
it's a
Respect.
nice it's a nice gesture. It's a
to
respect
honor
thing. Yeah.
where he was at, to respect
Mm.
the fan base that really supports him even after he left, type thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a nice thing to have. Going on to the trade talk that we were talking,
Well,
looks like Houston's going to be keeping Harden because they dumped Westbrook, as they have traded Westbrook to Washington for John Wall and a first-round pick.
John Wall, who hasn't played in over a year.
But is someone that Harden wanted to play with really badly. They were playing pickup ball in the offseason as well. That was caught on camera. I think this is going to be great for Harden because he has a point guard that'll pass. It'll be great for Westbrook because Westbrook will be able to throw his numbers up. And it's going to matter not for the playoffs.
I think Washington won this deal, hands down. You got John Wall is coming. You don't know what you're going to get out of John Wall. He's coming off Achilles injury. He hasn't played in over a year. Houston still just does not seem to want to move on from that small ball, which clearly hasn't worked. And you're pairing
Who's their
Westbrook up with
coach? Is that
Bradley Beal.
Mike D'Antoni?
Nope.
No, it's Paul Silas.
Yeah.
No, yeah,
I think
Paul
it's Paul
Silas. Yep. For right now, and Washington got a pick out of that too. They got a protected first-round pick, if I'm correct.
Houston got the pick.
Houston got the pick. Okay, so maybe
Houston got the first-round pick and John Wall.
Okay.
And then Washington got the headache of Westbrook not being able to do anything as a team player.
I definitely think Houston got the better.
I think Houston because of the pick, but honestly, I think this trade is
pick and also Walls.
It's not gonna matter. Houston, I think Houston's gonna drop in the playoff ranking with this now.
I think they're still going to make the playoffs.
No, they might,
James
but they're
Harden
not going to
be good enough to get you there by himself.
Right, but they're not going to be a number 3.
No, they might. I mean, if it depends on how John Walls comes back, because if he comes back healthy, if he comes back good, you're talking about a guy that can just do something that Harden really hasn't had before, and that's somebody that can make plays with him, right? I mean, then you talk about, Westbrook going to Washington, and that means nothing to me. It's another great superstar that's going to go fucking tank on a shitty team. He's going to be good enough to get Washington to the playoffs. But I think as far as potential at how deep they can go, you're talking about Houston all day as far as that. Even if John Walls comes back as a fraction of his former self, he's not Deron Williams, right? Like Deron Williams, when he was at his prime, was an outstanding passer, but he could also score. John Walls, at least from my recognition, and granted, I don't know a lot about him recently, more of his early career, but he was an elite passer coming up in the era where you had Steve Nash there too, or not there, but in the league. So I think somebody that can distribute that ball and make it so Harden isn't. The question is Harden still going to be bringing the ball up the court?
Probably.
Then I don't know. Harden should not be doing that.
The most, and this one I actually know about. Harden, in my mind, is one of probably the most overrated NBA player right now. And I say player. He's probably the best scorer, but as an overall player, he is so overrated.
He reminds me of like a less freakish young Carmelo Anthony. He will put up points, but I will score on him.
Yeah.
No defense.
Not to mention he's jacking up a shot any chance he can get. And it's always threes. He does drive. He does have the ability to drive, but you don't ever really see him do it.
If I was an NBA front office member, I would not bring James Harden onto my team. No. I don't care how cheap I could get him.
I understand.
He is a cancer.
I understand why Houston wanted him. And when he was 6th man of the year, when he was on the Thunder, he had an amazing Euro step. His ability to drive is phenomenal, and I don't know why he doesn't do it anymore. He is a tremendous scorer,
Mhm.
and now all he does is shoot the three.
Yep. And
I
he
think he's
still
afraid
does.
of contact.
He still does not like to play defense.
He's
And
afraid of contact.
here's the thing: if you watch him, watch a Houston Rockets game, and just watch him, he does not like to run any of the offense. It's basically him standing and walking back and forth, waiting for him to get the ball so he can either do a stupid little step back. All
Here's the
he
question
does is
though.
shoot.
Here's the question. If you're the head coach of that team, is this your fault? I don't necessarily think so, because you
It's
know what you're getting out of James Harden. You are getting a guy that doesn't give a fuck whatever your offensive scheme is, whatever your defensive
Mhm.
scheme is. He is there for him and nobody else. And that's who James Harden is. That's who James Harden has always been. And when you bring in a head coach like that, like, what's he supposed to do? Bench James Harden? You're
no.
going to have ownership down his
It's
throat.
it's
You know,
not the
it's just so
coach.
difficult.
It's not so much the coach. It's as the GM and who's bringing players in, because you know he's going to get you on average 40 points a night. It's finding the other players that are going to get you the other 60 to 70 points.
They should have traded Harden and kept Westbrook.
Yeah.
Westbrook's a ball hawk too, you know, right?
Oh
Like,
yeah. Oh yeah.
you're not,
No.
not disputing that, but I'm
No,
saying
No,
he's
not
not as
disputing
bad
that
as
at all.
Harden.
That's
No.
why I say this trade doesn't matter for the NBA, because it's not
No.
going to
It's
No.
change anything in the outlook
No.
of the playoffs.
If
or
anything, it makes the Rockets worse.
yeah,
And it makes
Because
Washington a little bit better because
yeah,
you
a
pair
lot
Westbrook
better.
with
I don't
with
know.
Beal. You pair Westbrook with Beal. Beal doesn't have to do so much anymore
So
now.
Right,
Houston
but
Rockets 2.0.
Wall and
Except for Beal
Beal
plays defense.
were played amazing together.
Mhm.
Wall and Beal are an amazing combo. Splitting that up is going to be bad.
And
Here's the
Westbrook
thing,
doesn't
though.
pass nearly as well as Wall does.
Here's the
But he
thing,
does
though.
pass.
A year ago, Westbrook was like, I want Westbrook, or sorry, Harden was all on the, I want Westbrook here. Let's bring him here. That was a year ago. Now it's Harden saying,
want-
all right, I don't want
You
him.
remember
I want Wall
last year
now.
in like free agency how we were looking at these teams where you had Kawhi and what's his face with the Clippers.
Paul George.
You had Brooklyn that was looking like they were going to be an exceptional team this year. Not obviously last year, but this upcoming season they look like they were going to be an exceptional team because that's when Durant comes back, right?
And Kyrie.
And Kyrie. Oh, they're both out. Okay, cool. You've got the Lakers, with all the
Hang on.
moves they made
Hang on.
last
We're
year.
going to talk about the Lakers here in a minute.
But
All right.
like, it is a kind of a good point because I remember like so much excitement before last season. Obviously, this was before COVID and all that, about how many good teams we were going to potentially have, and now you're talking about like some of these teams splitting up, like Houston.
Mhm. Yeah. But one team that isn't splitting up, it seems to be getting better, which I don't know how.
On paper.
Is on paper.
On paper. Because if you remember, the last time this specific team did something very similar, they got smashed by the Pistons in the championship. Smashed.
So the Lakers, Tyler, why don't you tell us about what's going on with them?
Yep. So they got 2 extensions. So for at least the next 2 more years, you will have LeBron and AD together. LeBron did sign a 2-year extension worth $85 million.
Which is very un-LeBron like.
He's expected to make $5,000 a minute played.
Yeah.
And
but here's a funny thing to think about. It's 41 million a year. You know who else makes 41 million a year? John
Jesus.
Wall.
Oh, John Wall.
True.
So it is very on LeBron like.
Clearly identical players too. I mean,
yeah.
And the other signing is AD coming in with the max deal, 5 years, 190 million.
Didn't they get a bunch of fun pieces as well in free agency?
Yeah, a lot. They got Montrezl Harrell.
They got, or as they call him in the NBA, just Trez.
Yeah.
I guess.
Fuck. Who else came over? Dennis
they got
Schroeder.
Wes Matthews, Dennis
Schroeder, yeah.
Marc Gasol. That's the only.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah. Which, bravo on AD for not opting into free agency rather than signing an extension and getting that max deal. Bravo for him. 5 years and he got that max deal.
If anyone deserves it, he does.
Honestly, yeah. So
that's going to be his team for a while.
Can we just take a minute to appreciate how much more money NBA players can make with like endorsements than like NFL players? Because you look at like NBA, right? You see shoe deals, you see all this other stuff. You look at NFL players and you see Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes doing State Farm commercials.
Yep.
Do better.
Mhm.
Do better.
Yeah,
Do better.
Well, and not only even just
I
bringing
100% hate green beans, 100% don't care.
not even just the endorsements, just the league average for NBA players, just their contracts are ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like, they
that all
have-
stems back. If you want to look at big contracts, sorry to cut you off.
I mean, you
But
yeah, go ahead.
if you want to look at big contracts that shouldn't have been given out, when Mike Conley signed that max deal when he signed it,
Yeah.
Mike Conley is the last person to deserve a max deal. I'm sorry, he is not great. He is not good. He is decent. I'll say it.
Keep this in
And
mind
he made
too.
he had a max deal.
That's
this
I
in
think
mind
the problem
too
with the
when
NBA.
keep
Go ahead,
keep
Aaron.
this in mind too when it comes to all these max deals and NBA players making these ridiculous amounts of money. Look at the difference between what the NBA teams make as compared to NFL teams. They're probably pretty similar, except you're only having to pay 15 guys, whereas you're
Yeah.
having to pay 53 guys in the NFL. So
Right. And the
You
coaching
can-
staffs are so much bigger.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
the thing I
so
think that separates the
stadiums.
NFL's pay structure compared to the NBA's is yes, you do have very similar as far as spending per team. But if you are an elite player in the NFL, you have a much greater chance of making more money than other players at your position. Because you look at the NBA, like Tyler just alluded to, one of the greatest players, if not the greatest player of all time, is making the same amount of money as Mike Conley and John Wall,
Mhm.
who aren't even in the same, should not even be uttered in the same sentence as LeBron James.
right.
And you're talking about they're making the same amount of money. It's absolutely ridiculous to me that that's how that goes. LeBron James should be making more than any other player in the NBA on salary alone. I'm not talking endorsements. I'm not talking about all the extra stuff. I'm saying in salary alone, LeBron James should be making more money than the next two players combined, for all I care. Like, he's that good. He took terrible Cleveland teams to the finals. Give him money.
Yeah.
Just
The other thing about LeBron signing that deal is that puts him on the Lakers through 2023. His son Bronny Jr. should be ready for the league at that point if they adopt the high school
LeBron
rule
plays
again.
one game, smokes his son, and then retires.
I want to see that so bad because LeBron is so in on his son, which is awesome to see. Like he's rooting on his son all the time.
Oh yeah.
I
You
would
think he
love to see them
retires
on
when
opposing
his
teams.
kid comes
Fuck
in?
no. Fuck no. I want to see
I mean,
them
you're
playing
talking
against
about
each other.
like LeBron
I
James
see
is not a
LeBron-
spry young chicken right now.
I
We're
see
talking maybe
LeBron
3 more years.
dunking on Bronny.
Oh yeah.
I see
I think
Bronny
LeBron's
going
gonna
up for a
dunk on
block.
LeBron one way or the other.
I see Bronny going up for a block and LeBron putting him on the wood. He is
And getting in his
not
face like,
gonna-
that's why you don't come after the crown.
No, and then
You're the
watch
prince, I'm the king.
Bronny comes back and does it to him.
Oh yeah, I get.
They just
I've seen him do
retire,
it.
we
He's
all
been
die.
doing it.
You know LeBron would let him go to the ring instead of being dunked on by his son. That would not happen. LeBron James would be like, oh, he would just beat me to the rim this time to avoid the poster card of him getting dunked on by his child.
All right. Also,
I mean, how old is LeBron at this point?
37.
37. Yep.
We're talking about this guy playing into his 40s and being dominant. I think you might get one season where they play in the league together, but I think
But
he retires after.
he's a freak of nature.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, this guy has so much money. Does he want to continue playing?
I
Yes.
think so.
How many more
Yeah,
rings does he
just
need to tie Jordan?
2.
He can get those the next 2 years, and then he's done.
I don't
Oh
see
yeah,
that.
just calling
yeah.
a three-peat, just
I mean, you're,
calling it
with
right
this Lakers
now.
team,
Yeah.
you're saying they can't three-peat
Yeah,
with this
that's
Lakers
true.
team?
that is true. Well,
So-
no,
They could
but-
get to the finals without LeBron. That's how good this team is.
Well, going
Yeah.
into LeBron's age, I mean, yeah, he's 37, but how many fucking games has that guy played? Like,
Yeah,
that has
he came in
a
what,
ton of
2004?
Yeah, 2003, 2004.
Yeah,
Around
because
there.
it was the same
And
year as
how
Dwayne
many
Wade, and I
years
think
has
I was
he
18.
not gone to the finals? Like, that's a lot of games.
Oh yeah,
That-
he
I mean-
plays a lot of basketball.
But he's
And
starting
he
to
doesn't
do
miss
these.
a lot of games.
He's starting to do
does.
these load management games,
Like
which
they
is
did with Tim
Which
bullshit
I know
in
we've
my
talked
mind.
about. I know we've talked about it in the past, but fuck it, dude. Honestly, my opinion, I'm gonna be pissed when he doesn't play. But fuck it, he's earned
If
it.
I'm a Lakers fan and I spend the ridiculous amount of money it costs to go to a Lakers game,
No, yeah,
fuck you if you don't play LeBron.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Like that's why I'm going. I don't give a shit about Anthony Davis. I mean, yes,
Mm.
fantastic player. I'm not going to see Anthony Davis. I'm going to see LeBron.
Hmm.
And if you
My
don't
thing
play him, go
on
fuck yourself.
my thing on load management comes from what Michael Jordan said. I'm in the league to play basketball.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. There's no reason for someone to be in the league until you're 40. Look in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. People weren't playing into their 40s.
Mm.
This
They
is a
also
high
didn't make that
impact.
kind of money then.
Exactly. This
well,
is a
and
high. They
plus,
don't need it.
They didn't have
Who needs that kind of money?
Well,
Well, a
these
guy like
athletes,
John Wall,
too.
a guy like me, for instance, I could
Yeah.
I could think of a
I could
couple
use
things
it.
I could do
No.
with $41 million
What-
a year.
No, what I'm saying though is, why do they need to keep playing to keep earning more and more and more? They've earned enough to live. They shouldn't be doing load management so they
Because
can
this is
play
America.
longer.
I mean,
No,
look at the state of this country. At
exactly.
this point.
This
Like,
is America,
having enough
and
to
they should be
live
giving
doesn't
us the
qualify for
most
shit.
for their money.
I agree. But the problem is it's the same thing you're going to get with any other business. Can I make just as much money by not giving you an elite product? Yes, I can. So
I
I'm not going to
understand
do
that,
it. I
but-
mean, especially when you're talking about a guy like LeBron. LeBron's not in here to play basketball. He's here to win championships, and basketball just happens to be the career he's playing.
But if
Here-
everyone compares him to Jordan, you
Yes.
cannot be as good as Jordan until you have that same mindset. You
Here
are
and
here
here's
for
also
basketball.
But here's the
here's
thing.
also the
We
thing.
compare him to Jordan. He has said repeatedly, I'm LeBron, right? Like,
Yeah.
stop comparing me to Jordan. And we're the ones that are comparing him. They are two different styles of players. If you're going to compare Jordan to anyone, compare him to Kobe.
Yeah.
Don't compare him to LeBron. LeBron is a
Not
completely
comparing him
different
player
beast.
to
That's
player,
like
comparing him
comparing
for
Jordan to
greatness.
Russell.
Hold on. Here's something I want to throw in there too with that is if you're gonna throw in the Jordan with what he said back in his day when he was playing up to 38 into his 40s, look at the shape that he was in and look at the games that he missed. LeBron is in way better shape than Jordan was, and he's sitting out these games because of
That's the
load
issue I have.
management.
That I
Yeah.
don't care so much about the load management and the taking times off because it's a completely different game now. And honestly, like
It's softer too. Jordan played in a lot
also when you're
tougher
looking at
era
it,
too.
yeah, he did. But at the same time, like if you take Jordan out of the lineup for load management games, there's a good chance the Bulls don't win as many championships. They don't have as many fantastic seasons as they did because you needed Jordan in that lineup. Yes, you had Pippen, who is a Hall of Famer, but you needed Jordan to get there. They don't need LeBron to get to the playoffs. They don't need LeBron to get to the finals. He's going to make damn sure they get there. That's the thing. And when you look at LeBron, he typically falls off come finals time. So I definitely understand giving him a little bit of extra rest so he is rested going into the finals to make sure they win these championships. Because ultimately, to me, I don't care how much football I'm playing. I do not want to be Dan Marino. I do not want to be one of the greatest to ever play my position and get zero recognition for it, at least now, because nobody talks about Dan Marino being one of the greats anymore. Because you've been spoiled by these elite new quarterbacks with new systems under new rules that I'm there to win championships and be known as the greatest of all time. You're not known as the greatest of all time unless you have rings. And to LeBron, if I have a better shot to win rings by benching myself, I'll play 0 games a season and come in for the finals if that's what I need to do. It's just kind of how I feel about it. Like when you go to professional sports, you're there to win championships. That's it.
You don't get to professional sports without having that drive.
Right.
But it's not just a job. If it's just a job to you, then you're not there.
And keep in mind, we're talking about a guy that has been playing basketball professionally since he was 18 years old. This is 20 years he's going to be going on playing professional basketball. The toll that is going to take on somebody's body, as few games as he has missed, is going to be extreme. Yeah. Jordan took time off for a couple of years. LeBron didn't.
Jordan played a whole nother sport.
Yeah. And then he was terrible at it. And I'm sorry, but if you're telling me baseball puts as a batter, not a pitcher, puts as much on your body as basketball,
no,
you're fucking high.
It doesn't, but that's a debate for another day. Because for anybody who says Jordan was terrible at baseball, keep in mind, yes, it was probably a publicity stunt in signing him. Yeah. But his stats for double A ball, hang on. His stats for double A ball were pretty impressive for somebody who just came in and switched sports like that. He wasn't that terrible of a baseball player. But
no, he was not awful. He was not
a debate
awful
for another day.
Yeah.
One other little NBA nugget, one little fun nugget here before we move on. All the City Edition jerseys have been released, and I just want to get thoughts if y'all have seen them. Chicago's probably my favorite so far. It
It
screams
it's Great Gatsby.
1920. Yeah, it screams 1920s.
It's cool.
Everything I love about the gangster era of
Let
Chicago.
me pull them up because I don't remember seeing the bold.
Pull them up. The Chicago one's cool, but my favorite is Brooklyn. It goes after the 80s artists, street artist Jean-Michel Baptiste. The graffiti style art. I love Brooklyn style. But the winner again, as it is every year, is going to
Well,
be Miami. I
yeah.
think.
Just when you think like
man,
somebody
the
else.
yogurt or the yogurt shit.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the yeah. It does kind of look like that,
Dude,
but it's
one of
they
my buddies
stick with
was-
that Miami Vice City type shit, and it just works every time.
The
Yeah.
blues and the pinks that just
Mhm.
mix together. The Miami, just the like the setting sky down Florida looks like all the time.
Yeah.
The pink with the blue. That's what
The-
they go for.
The Bucks, though, I'm not digging it this year.
It's better than their yellow ones. I hated those.
Really? Wait, oh,
Yeah.
the yellow ones. Yeah. No, I didn't like the yellow
I
ones.
stopped giving
I
a
love
shit
the
about their
Cream City.
jerseys once they were like, "Hey, let's put sponsors on them." I was like, "Oh, we're soccer."
that ain't
okay.
that bad.
I don't.
No,
That
it's
ain't
not
bad. I don't
too
mind
bad.
that little shit there.
Yeah.
It's not as bad as WNBA where you have to have a main sponsor, or else
Yeah.
you don't have a fucking league. But the Bucks
I
with
like
they're
the
all their blues,
Pacers
yeah.
bringing back their throwback.
Honestly, I
ones.
looked
I
it
do
up.
like
I
the
looked up
Pacers.
the Pacers are nice, but the Bucks,
Oklahoma's
it's a lot of it's
cool.
all blue and white, which
Yeah.
I looked it up. There's no green on it, Aaron. If it is, it's very
You
little. It's
sure?
blue and white, which
I thought there was green around the lettering. Very
okay.
faint.
Again, we've had this argument. I'm also could be colorblind with blue and green, but it looks a lot of. It's got the same colors as the Greek national team.
Eye roll.
Got the blue and white. I'm just saying, you want to keep Giannis. Let's get the blue and white. They should just throw a Greece flag on it and be like, hey, please stay with us.
I
We
will
are now the
say-
Milwaukee Grease.
I will say Sacramento, bravo for keeping the funniest jerseys alive. There says Sacktown. So
yeah.
the Bucks left the Cream City jerseys in the past. Sacramento.
Well, I
still
found the
wants to
city
be
I want to
funny.
move to.
Sacktown.
Sacktown.
All
The
right.
the Cleveland jerseys look pretty cool, but
Those are
Yeah.
probably amongst my least favorite. Those are ugly as shit. Sorry.
but no, my favorite is the Brooklyn one. But like I said, the winner has to be Miami again.
Yeah.
I'm pulling them up.
All
Let me
right.
see.
I do like the Thunder ones, man. Those are the black with just the blue top and the gray.
Yeah.
I
I did see those. Yeah. Dallas's were pretty sick too with the gold
we're-
and white. Yeah.
I'll say
Am
while
I
we're talking
looking
about
at the wrong jerseys? You said they had blue on their jerseys, the Bucks?
Yeah,
Yes,
you must
see
because they're
green.
jersey.
City
Their
edition.
city jersey, the city edition.
City edition.
City edition. Okay, because I'm looking, I was like, those are definitely fucking green. And I was like, these look like normal jerseys to me. Why are you guys so impressed?
Aaron, I'm surprised you don't like the Clippers coming in with their Grand Theft Auto
It's-
San Andreas.
Oh, I like it, but it's the same shit they wore last year. It's not that
Yeah,
different.
True.
So,
But
yeah.
no, the big one that Aaron and I were talking about before is the Warrior Cities one.
Yes, I have a
The-
funny thing about the Warriors that I was
The
telling Tyler
Oakland ones?
before. It says
don't see it.
Oakland.
Yeah.
Okay, hang on. So, funny thing, the Warriors, they moved to San Francisco this year, and now they want to debut this Oakland Forever bullcrap. Keep in mind that they're suing the city of Oakland for like $46 million for renovation costs, and they just left Oakland, and now they want to be all
And their
Oakland
jersey
Brooklyn's
says
Forever.
jerseys are
Oakland.
fantastic, by the way. I'm looking at this. Brooklyn's looks dope.
Brooklyn's
my
favorite.
I
I'm-
also really
I'm
do
not
like
huge on those.
Charlotte's. I don't know.
I
It just,
like the
Buzz
it's really
City.
nice.
The Buzz City.
yeah. I like
Yeah.
Chicago's looks very like 1920s chic.
That's
I like that.
why
It
I
looks
love
very
it.
nice.
Yes.
It reminds me of like, some of
Aaron's
the
gonna buy
Chicago
one.
mobsters.
Mhm.
I'm not a big fan of the Cleveland ones. The Bucks one I'm seeing, they still look green to me.
It's
I'm
blue.
not seeing
It's
much
all blue.
The entire
Oh,
jersey is blue.
The whole thing's
Yeah.
blue.
Dallas Mavericks look very like simple.
It's gold and white though. It's very crisp.
I like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the
Houston's
Knicks.
I like a
too.
lot. Wow, I like Houston's jersey.
The Knicks one that just says City doesn't sleep.
Pacers is Pacers.
Pretty
Kings are
cool.
Kings. Lakers are cool. Memphis.
Little
Miami
sad.
is dope.
Little sad news in the NBA
right.
while you're looking at the
I
City
like the
jersey
Bucks
is
ones.
Carl Anthony Towns. Everyone knows back in April his
Fucking
mom passed
okay,
away.
ESPN. God, you got to bring everything.
I'm sorry,
down, don't you?
He's lost 7 family members to COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
This
is very
man
sad.
is
Jesus Christ.
this
7?
man 7 family members, including his mom.
Whose mom? Yeah,
His mom died in April, and since then he's lost 6 other family members to COVID.
that is very sad. So
It's
yeah,
our thoughts go
yeah.
out to him and everyone
Yeah.
else that's going through this. But
I am
But God
curious,
damn it,
like,
Tyler,
to
you
bring us
have
up
to
on a
be
better note,
fucking
because Tyler
ESPN.
just put everybody that's listening
Yeah.
to test. If you listen to this point in the podcast, please comment that you did, because we really need to judge our length of podcast and if people are
Yeah.
listening at this point, because we're about to be 3 hours in.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think
Jesus
we should
Christ,
not
really are.
spend any more time on NBA because I'm gonna have to edit all this.
2 hours.
Grant, you had some F1 news I know you wanted to hit on.
Yeah, just the reigning world champion Lewis Hamilton tested positive for coronavirus, so he is sitting out at least this weekend. It really turned into who is going to be his replacement. They ended up going with another driver on the grid currently, George Russell. He's one of their junior drivers. They moved him from his current Williams seat to the Mercedes seat. He just went from the worst car that has scored no points to the absolute best points. It has been the past few years has really been how long is Lewis Hamilton's current teammate Bottas? How long is he going to keep his seat before they give it to Russell? This weekend became massive to both of them. I watched qualifying earlier. Fucking Bottas on pole. George Russell about a tenth of a second behind him in second place. Tomorrow is gonna be fucking fun to watch that race, especially at the
Speak
closest
for
thing.
yourself.
Yeah.
It's fucking off.
There's this little thing called football tomorrow, Grant. So
Yeah.
I know.
No one's watching that shit.
I'm so pissed because usually the race starts at like anywhere between 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. For some fucking reason, it starts at 11. So I'm not going to be able to watch any of it until probably after the after the Sunday night game. I'm pumped, but whatever. But
Yay.
yeah, so that's been also.
And on to more important NASCAR news.
Fuck off.
no, more important news: the
Oh, he's
WNBA
making
had the
another
draft
left
lottery.
turn.
I'll say more importantly, YouTube
Golf is
TV does
back.
not have a tennis channel anymore.
Yeah,
Speaking of
I did
YouTube,
see that.
that kind of leads into the fighting thing that I like to talk about.
Yeah.
Jake Paul knocks out Nate Robinson, former NBA player, and his first fucking
Second
call
round.
out is Conor fucking McGregor. Conor McGregor is going to steal this man's fucking soul.
That is
Like-
like me going up to Aaron, beating
like
him
me
basketball,
knocking
and
out
going, "Hey,
Tyler and being like,
LeBron,
"Give
let's
me
play
Floyd."
21."
Mhm.
Like,
Like this is like me fucking attacking Tyler and going up and be like, "Give me fucking Tyson next, bitch." Like what? The guy isn't a professional boxer, and then now he's being called out by Antonio Tarver. And on other fighting news, as far as ridiculous fucking call-outs go, yeah, exactly who. But Antonio Tarver is like, "I'll give you 30 years."
Oh no, I know Tarver.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tarver
Where
would knock his
other
ass out
fighting-
too.
Yeah, other fighting news with ridiculous callouts. You have Colby Covington of the UFC, who you may know, people that are listening to this point that do pay attention to any kind of UFC. Colby Covington is playing as an acting as a traditional WWE heel. He is not this kind of person, but he does play the traditional "I'm going to troll everybody" role. So he walks around in a MAGA hat. You know, he says and does like really stupid fucking like, you know, deep core Republican shit that most liberals hate, right? So he does this as a part of his persona. He calls out LeBron James and goes, "It would take me half the time to knock out LeBron James." And I'm like, "You're a career fucking fighter. Of course you're going to knock out LeBron James in half the time." Jake Paul, that was his second professional fucking fight, man. Like,
What are you talking about here? Colby, yeah, I'll knock out LeBron James. Yeah, most people could probably knock out LeBron James. He's a fucking basketball player.
He's also 6'9", like 275.
That doesn't
so.
mean shit.
And
That-
shredded.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that means absolutely fucking
No,
nothing.
yeah, if he
when it
doesn't know
comes
how to
fighting.
fight, yeah, if he
That
doesn't know how
means
to fight,
I
doesn't know how
can't
to
reach
fight.
his chin.
You don't need
Yeah.
to reach his chin. You go, and it's somebody that's that tall, and with you being,
Short.
not a
Vertically
midget,
challenged.
but vertically challenged, right? You're gonna go body blows all day long, man. You're not gonna go
Average
after the
height.
face.
Hey,
See
hey,
Tyler jumping up
average
for right
height.
hooks,
no, just wait until he hits that growth spurt, though. He'll be good. Wait till he
right?
hits puberty.
Wait till he gets puberty. He'll get up to like 5'5", 6 feet tall. It'll be great.
It's
Ooh,
funny because you
No,
look
but we're
like a
talking about
baby.
number one. Like Tyler just brings us in, right? You're talking about Colvin Covington. I'm going to knock out LeBron James in half the time it took Paul to take down Robinson. Well, if you compare those two, Jake Paul had 2 professional fights under his belt. Nate Robinson, this was his first fight. He's a fucking retired NBA player. So we're talking about somebody old as shit, ton of miles on his body, no professional fighting experience, gets knocked out in the second round by somebody that has been fighting. Now, give Jake Paul credit, right? As much as you may not like him with YouTube, as much as you may not like him as a person, he has surrounded himself with elite boxing coaches, and he is taking his training seriously, which is good if you're a Jake Paul boxing fan, right? Because he's doing and acting the way you should to be a superstar boxer, right? He has the right people around him. He's taking it seriously. Colby Covington calling out LeBron James. Colby Covington is probably about Tyler's height. He's taller than Tyler. Sorry. He's not. He's a shorter guy.
That's not
He's
saying
like
much.
5'10", 5'11". He's
That's
not
taller
going
than
to be
me.
able to fucking swing on LeBron James and hit him in the chin. So you're talking about body blows. But same time, no shit, you can knock out LeBron James. Like, this guy just does the stupidest shit, and he doesn't back it up in the ring anymore. So, I don't know.
Also, I guess if you're going to talk about that, we should just highlight what happened in the Tyson Roy
I
Jones
do
Jr. fight.
apologize. Jake Paul also, when he called out Conor McGregor, called out Dylan Dennis, who is a former UFC fighter as well. That is a much better fight because both of them have very limited striking experience, where Conor McGregor, the reason he can go into boxing, not necessarily great. I mean, he did better against Floyd than most people thought he was going to do, even though Floyd dominated that fight from start to end.
It's because he's Irish and they fight and
Yeah,
they're
that's
always
pretty.
drunk.
It's in their blood, right? But Dylan Dennis has less striking experience. He is more of a grappler submission artist, so that is a much closer fight. And I think they should do Dylan Dennis versus Jake Paul next.
Well, let's just
Fighting.
quick highlight on what happened in the Tyson Jones Jr. fight. It ended in a draw, which is very disappointing, especially because most people thought Tyson won that
Tyson
fight.
dominated that fight. I turned the fight off because I was like, there is no way this ends other than this going Tyson's way. And then I heard it was a draw, and I was like, what?
If it
was
wasn't
so
an
over.
exhibition that they weren't keeping score on,
Tyson
I think
wins.
Tyson would have won. Also, I think Tyson would have gone harder than what he did, and I think Tyson would have knocked him out.
Not to mention, Roy Jones Jr. does not look like he's in that great of shape anymore.
No.
Um,
And Mike
Oh, yeah.
Tyson,
Tyson.
Did you
I think
hear-
Tyson also took his training a lot more
looking at calling out, did you hear Evander Holyfield called out Tyson?
Yes, let's make it
Good, he
happen.
can lose his other fucking ear. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Let's make it happen. Tyson obviously can handle a fight. Let's make it happen.
And Holyfield looks like he's in good shape too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
and the thing is like Tyson and Holyfield, for the most part, like there's going to be a lot of, Tyson bit off Holyfield's ear. They have made amends since
Oh,
that
yeah.
happened. Tyson has admitted, I was in a bad place with drugs and fame and everything, and I needed to get out of the boxing world after that point. They have made amends for that. I think that would be a good fight, good exhibition fight. Raise money, donate it to whatever the hell you want.
Oh hell
I
yeah.
would pay to see a fight between Holyfield and Tyson after seeing Tyson in his last fight. I would not pay to see anything Jones Jr. is on, because that was embarrassing.
He's gonna be on like the
Also-
Celebrity Apprentice or something.
Also, Snoop Dogg needs to
Yay.
commentate on more shit.
He is the greatest commentator in the history of this planet. When I
Yeah.
heard the line, "This looks like two of my uncles beating the shit out of each other at a barbecue," I was like, nope, that is amazing. Let's keep going.
Yes, replace fucking Greg Jennings' dumbass with him on one of the NFL games.
I am
Please.
so fucking pissed that you are not wearing a Greg Jennings jersey right now.
It's
Hey,
bad enough
it's
I
rough.
had to wear this, and I think this
It's
episode
rough out
is
here in the streets, man.
coming to an
Uh,
end, so I can finally get this off.
I
of
don't
me,
know, the
so-
wor-
I think
the
we should
wor-
go for a couple more hours.
I don't know.
Okay, yeah.
The worst thing is Clay Matthews had fewer productive years on the Packers than Greg Jennings did.
Yeah.
So
Greg
really, who's the
Jennings-
worst player for the Packers?
Well,
Right?
Greg
I mean,
Jennings
You don't have
also
to
had
listen to
two
Clay
of the
Matthews.
greatest quarterbacks of all time.
But
throwing
here's
him
the
ball,
thing, like if
so-
you're talking about Packer fans, when Clay Matthews is playing, and Tyler, you would witness this with me because you were always on my side when I came to discussing Clay Matthews. You didn't think he was that good. You said he had talent, but he wasn't that good. Every other Packer fan that we worked with was talking about how Clay Matthews was one of the best pass rushers in the history of the game. And I was like, to be one of the best pass rushers in the history of the game, you have to play the game, and you're always injured. I'm sorry.
He was great his first year until everyone realized that he overextends on plays, and all you have to do is
You
go
can
up there
run
and say,
against him.
push,
Yeah.
push, done.
Do you know
Yep.
how many times I went back because I know that people were like arguing with me at our last job about how good Clay Matthews was. I went back and watched the entire Vikings games against him for like 2-3 seasons and just watched him completely whiff on Adrian Peterson every time dude would run at him. And I was just like, come on, man. You're saying this is one of the best linebackers in the history of the game? Go fuck yourself.
But no,
All right.
I'll say if we are coming to an end, I do want to bring this up. Shout out to one of our listeners, Matt. He brought up
Yeah.
last week we were talking
Oh,
about quarterbacks who
You
did not did not recover after knee injuries, and we all forgot about Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Yep.
The funny
I
thing is
have
when I was
refused-
discussing Carson Palmer's injury, I was picturing the play he got injured on as the play Tom Brady got injured on. So I was picturing the Steeler guy jutting up the middle, hitting him in the knee, and I was like, no. And then he was like, Tom Brady. I was like, duh.
Yep. So shout out to Matt there. So we have
Thanks
one
for
listener.
listening.
Yeah, we have one
Yeah.
listener.
Hey,
Thanks for listening, Matt.
way to go, Matt.
Hopefully he listens to this point in the show so you can hear his name.
Well, we'll find out if he leaves a comment, won't we?
Yeah. Yeah. And if you want to leave a comment, look us up on Facebook. Check us out on YouTube. We are also on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pocket Cast, a whole bunch of other.
Anywhere except for
Places.
Stitcher.
Yep. Fuck Stitcher.
Anywhere you guys want to hear fat people talk about sports, we add, except for Stitcher.
Yeah.
Fuck Stitcher.
We are also
Unless
working
they
on,
let us on there.
we are also in the process of some major news, so stay tuned for some upcoming episodes as we could potentially have some more big news about our show and other shows. So just a little yeah, you guys don't know about that. We'll talk
Yeah.
about that in a
All
Way
right.
minute.
to fucking like
Wait,
keep
wait,
the
what?
other three
Yeah.
people in the
So-
podcast in
Oh
the
no,
dark about
other
this.
two. Me
You
and
need
Tyler
to
know
keep-
about it.
Bro, fuck you both.
Yeah,
Fuck
We'll
you
tell
both.
you. Hey, can we end the fucking episode so we can tell you about it, huh?
Sure. Okay.
No, or
Okay.
you could have just, like messaged us in our fucking
Giant
chat that
group
we're
chat we
in
have that you spam
daily.
all day long.
Okay,
Guys,
guys,
stop.
calm down. We're gonna talk to you
No.
about it, and we'll talk to the listeners soon. But for right now, we're gonna sign
I just
off.
want to point
okay?
out to our one listener that listens.
Can
this
we
far
end
that
the fucking
Grant and I
show?
love you,
Jeez.
and Aaron and Tyler hate you.
No, we love all of you, okay? And we want to end this show. So we will see you next week. Thanks for checking us out. I'm Aaron.
I'm TJ.
I'm Tyler.
Grant.
All right, we will see you again.